Hi guys, and welcome to the video. It's me, Ro. This is Jasmine. What are we doing here today, Jasmine?
Today we are answering questions submitted by you guys for what it's like for me dating a DID system.
Exactly. You guys sent us some really great questions, so without further ado, we're just going to hop right in and get into it. So the first question is, what's it like balancing a system's different religious beliefs?
I've never really had a problem with it. I, as a person, never really had a problem with others' religions, and so I very much have a view of that there's multiple deities in the world, that there's multiple religions and beliefs because there's different gods. So it's never really been a problem for me because I already have this belief that there's a higher power.
Now, all systems are different, but our system doesn't really argue over religion. You've never seen that, never have we really. We kind of just go with the flow and respect each other in that regard.
Yeah.
What do you love about each of your partners?
I love a lot of things about each of my partners. Each of my partners have their own way of showing love, and so I love getting love differently, and it's also opened up a lot of my self to show love. Mm-hmm. So I love being showed all these different forms, such as you as Ro, and Nyx and Patrice as more of my intimate physical touch partners who love cuddles and kisses and things like that, and where I'm not like that. I like acts of service, such as what Jim does for me, and I love the different love languages that all of my partners have.
Aww, sweet. Is it hard to manage time with your partners?
Surprisingly, yeah. You guys there's a lot of you who are busy inside, and so I don't get to see a lot of you guys frequently, and so like the main partners I get to see are usually just Jim, Ro, Nyx, Patrice, or I'm dating Caspian, Natalia, Denali, and those three all are usually doing stuff in her system.
They are super busy all the time. They're running about all the time. Is it easy to remember whose trauma is whose and to keep those boundaries?
Yes and no. I do know trauma and who it's assigned to, and I try not to bring up trauma topics unless it is brought up by someone, and it's usually someone bringing up their own trauma to kind of discuss and like plan how they're going to deal with it. And so I usually leave it up system-wise for if you want to talk about your trauma, we can talk about it together, but I don't really bring up anyone else's trauma.
You don't, and that's something that we really love about you and really appreciate.
I try.
Do we all have different ways of showing you affection? We kind of already touched on that one, actually.
Yeah. We all have very different love languages, which is very, like, it shows pretty heavily.
How should I interact with the system and their different moods when they have them?
I'm assuming in the sense that, like, you know, an altar can come out and a specific, like, kind of, sorry, I'm itching. I have really bad eczema.
Don't itch.
Sorry. Other altars can have specific mindsets to how they view the outside world. And so I just try to be reassuring and kind of just match how they're feeling or help them feel comforted when they're in my presence to make them feel safe rather than, you know, questioning them.
Right. If I dated somebody with DID, what are the do's and don'ts?
Well, all the do's are respect their boundaries.
Very important.
Communicate with what those boundaries are. Don't go pushing and digging for trauma to find out why they have DID, what all the headmates or alters traumas are.
Because you could so easily trigger somebody, and that would be just terrible, really. Is there anything else you can do?
No, my big things for any kind of relationship is just make sure you get communication out in the open, Make sure you know what those boundaries are. Respect them. They are all their own people. Also, don't go in with the headspace that you're dating all the alters, because usually it's whoever's talking to you is the one who's interested in you, and the other ones kind of stand back to kind of test the water and see who you are, and probably would rather have a friendship from you rather than a relationship. So don't go jumping in thinking you're gonna be dating all these different headmates.
Oh, it's like several months, if not years, for people to come around to you. So it's something that does take time. Just communication is key, my darlings. It is so important just to talk, to speak, and to be on the same page about
Exactly.
things. Just never stop talking. Just talk, communicate, and just make sure you're communicating well between all alters and yourself. What's it like when on altar friends? Can you tell the difference between us? I think like whenever you have all your partners, can you tell? Are there tales that we have that you notice?
Yes.
Like
Living with you for as long as we have lived together, I'm with you guys so frequently that I can usually tell based off of like body language, and even when you're masking as, you know, like a host or someone who's kind of like the image for the body, basically, I can usually tell who it is based off of your body language, your tone of how you talk. And if like an accent or something slips out, I'm like, oh, that's Ro, or oh, that's Hayden, or something like that. Usually I can just tell.
What's like an easy tell that you've seen from one of us?
Jim.
Yeah.
Jim is one of the easier ones.
Yeah.
Even when he's masking, he very much slouches and kind of talks really slow. Got a very stoner voice, even when he's masking as like Nyx. I'm just being truthful.
Oh my god, no, but it's right, but it's so funny. Stop. No, that's so
It's just because
funny.
he's tired all the time.
He's so tired constantly. He's so exhausted. He always sounds like he's never slept a day in his life.
Yeah.
Poor guy. Poor guy. So this next one is really interesting. How do you all manage the switch from your partner to a little fronting suddenly? I am a system too, so we have another system asking, perhaps for some advice.
Oh, so I'm already pretty good at separating you guys' alters as different people. And so whenever one of you switch, I just automatically am like, oh, this is a new person I'm talking to. I visualize it as I'm in a room with people and my partner gets up and walks away and somebody else comes in. So I kind of have that same view when it's like one of the littles fronts. I already have a mindset of how to work and handle with kiddos. So I kind of just treat them as any other kid I would work with, or if I was like babysitting or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's really important from a system perspective to also remember littles are children, and it's very important to keep that in mind, especially for some people around you. If you are with a partner in a little fronts, always shut down immediately what was happening before.
Yeah.
Even if it was like, say for activities like you're just hanging out on your phone, shut it down. Whatever was happening, just shut it down, and then check in with the child. Like, how are you doing? Hi, what's going on? Like, can I help you? Do you want to play? Is there an adult nearby?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is
Like
someone
you would
like
any
someone
child.
inside
Yeah.
kind of around who's like, are you able to talk to anyone inside? Or are you just out here by yourself?
By no means like scare them, but like also check in to make sure they're all right, because they might not be. And if they aren't, then handle it as you would. But also if they are, and they are being supervised, even if they're not being supervised, like find a kid-friendly activity to just do. Like
Yeah, and also be careful about social gatherings and things like that. When a little pops out, make sure you're able to pull them aside and be like, hey.
take them away from the situation.
Yeah, be like, hey, are you out here alone?
Are
Again,
you stuck?
are you
Yeah.
stuck? And it's like, okay, if you are, let's go to a quieter space. That way you're not around all of the stuff that's going on.
Yeah, yes, of course. And it's so prevalent. We are so safe with our littles. Their names are not anywhere. I mean, we do have videos of them, but they have been so heavily edited to make sure that they're personal information is safe and secure. That you should always make sure your littles in your system, or any system that you know, is safe and secure first and foremost. It is so dreadfully important.
Agreed.
Do you view the littles as your kids? Does that get awkward?
No, I kind of view them more as, like, in relation to me, maybe like cousins, like little baby cousins, or kids I would babysit, rather than like my kids, because I don't want that kind of relationship with them. I'd rather be more of like a friendly, like, adult to them, someone who's will keep them safe and watch while doing fun activities, but also make sure that they know I'm more of a friend and like a protector.
Somebody they can be protected by.
Yeah.
I have the same opinion of our littles. Our littles know that I'm not a parent, you know, and that we are safe people for them to be around. And
Exactly.
you know, that's just personally for us how our system runs. I know some systems do view their littles as children, as like their children specifically, and that's completely valid. And I have seen other partner systems that view the littles as like, that is my child kind of thing. It's just a very different thing for everybody, and no matter how you swing it, no matter how you do it, totally fine. But for us personally, that's what works.
Just gotta sit closer because I want to close.
Okay.
I'm ready.
All right. Ooh, hitting off some hard ones on page 2. How do you deal with loss?
Well, when it comes to like outer world loss, you know, losing a loved one, a friend, or something like that, it is very hard, especially when it's someone close to you, because I'm very much a logical thinker, and usually when like the passing of one of my best friends who was only in his 20s, it hit me so hard because I was just angry at the world, because I was like, how could this happen, you
That's
know?
really unfair.
Yeah. And I'm notorious for getting angry and upset, and I'll hold on to that anger for longer than needed, but eventually when I come back and think about it, I'm like, no, I need to continue going on and living life and having these fun experiences for them and with them in memory. And when it comes to like a system loss, though, like there's been a few who I've lost system-wise that I'm like, wow, that's a whole different type of grief, because nobody else except really you and maybe like a handful of friends knows about them. So it's not even like I can call my mom or something and be like, I just lost a friend, because she's like, well, it's not that serious, but to me it is.
Right, because there's so much misunderstanding with like how deep those connections get and things, and a lot of people, you know, they don't understand DID, so it gets really complicated when you're discussing like system loss specifically. And like, you know, we've gone through so much change recently that we are like, I don't want to get too much into it because I'll get really emotional, because we've had a lot of loss in our system just recently through these past 9 months. I feel the tears. But I don't want to get into it, but like, you can't just call off work because of a system loss, because like generally that's reserved for like family, like close family, like
And
moms,
to you
dads,
as a system, that is your family.
and for us that is, but it's like, what do you tell your boss? There are only so many grandparents you can have. There's only so many aunts and uncles you can have before it starts
so many
getting
siblings you can have.
exactly, before it starts to get really ridiculous to them at least. And so it's so complicated, because like, you don't have time in the outer world to grieve really. So a lot of grief is internalized and like inside, like whenever we all have the time to do that.
And usually it ends up being a lot of taking time away from the outer world and grieving inside. And I'll lose like a couple of like friends or partner to grieve inside, and I won't see them for a couple of days because they're inside having that time,
having that release. And it's so important, but it's so difficult. Like, loss is difficult no matter how you cut it, but it's just extra hard. Moving on, because we don't really have this, and I mean, do you get jealous? How do you handle jealousy? We don't really get jealous.
I'm not really the jealous type. I'm more of a protective type. So whenever we're like out and it appears like someone were to be like
creepy or something.
Like making a move, my first instinct isn't like, that's my partner, get away. It's more of a view of,
is my partner okay?
yeah, are they okay? Are they comfortable? Or is this person a safe person? Like, because I know you guys have trauma, and I, especially out in public, like parties or clubbing.
Parties can be very difficult for us because we do have trauma with party atmospheres. And
so I'm always like checking in on you. Like even when you first met my friends and we were out clubbing and stuff, it was like me constantly checking in. Like, hey, are you okay? Do we need to go outside and take a break? Type of
so you
thing.
need to breathe. You need to find some place quieter for a bit. Yeah, and it can be really hard because of our trauma, specifically when going out doing that kind of
like
stuff.
even when we first started dating, I wasn't the jealous type because I'm very much like, I have faith in my relationship, and if you're the type of person who doesn't want to be with me, then okay, I can move on from that. Especially even like with friends too. Like I'm very much like, if we're friends, we're friends, and if you want other friends, go ahead by all means. I'm not really gonna care because at the end of the day, we'll still be friends. Just like our relationship, we're so tight and close knit that I don't even care if you go out partying with your friends. Mm-hmm. I'm more worried about you being safe.
Oh,
and making sure that the people you're going with are people who will keep you safe.
It is one of those things where like we always check in and say exactly who either of us are going out with, just to make sure that the other person doesn't worry. And yeah, it's really great, honestly, because like we just keep each other safe. Ooh.
She's back there roughing.
Okay, the next question is, do people understand your relationship?
Yes and no. They understand when I refer to the broken mirror.
Oh, the broken mirror
comparison. Kind of, yeah, how you guys are your own different shapes and sizes, but you all make up this whole image.
So the broken mirror comparison is a mirror shatters, and every piece is different, different shapes, different sizes, but you can all make up the same pieces of the same mirror. So it's just a way to visualize the idea.
But I try to explain how I date different alters in the system, and that's where I lose people, because
that's where I lose people all the time too.
Because it's trying to explain that, and they're like, well, aren't they the same person? I'm like, no. You guys are all your own individual people, and when I try to explain that, they go like, that doesn't really make sense. But to me, I'm able to visualize y'all independently, and like right now I can see you as Ro with your blonde hair, your freckles, your glasses, your button up cottage core.
She's got an
I do have quite the imagination, and whenever Jim comes out, I imagine the swoopy black hair, the dark eyeshadow, the golden
bright gold eyes,
golden eyes, and the tattoos. And so it's like I have these ways of like flipping in my head who's out for me. Because it's not only just your body language and your voice and things like that. It's also my brain connecting you with this image of you as well. So that way I'm able to see you how you see yourself. But it's kind of twisted in my mind because I don't have the exact same
I love it. And you know, the weirdest thing is like, it's specifically for our situation. Because I've seen a lot of very monogamous, only one alter dates one partner in the outer world kind of thing. And then I've seen a lot of polyam, where it's like a lot of alters are dating other people, but they're dating other people, you know? And then I've seen a lot of like partner systems, where like systems are dating other systems, so all the alters are in different relationships. Mm-hmm. But our relationship is, I feel like, it's weirdly unique, because it's like poly with you, but then monogamous outside of you, because you're a one partner for so many people.
Poly system-wise, and monogamous body-wise.
Yes. That's just how we live our beautiful, wonderful little lives.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Tips? It just says tips. Tips help.
Going back to that one question about, do's and don'ts. I will forever stand by just communicating with your partner. Make sure, or even if you just are friends with a system, communicate with them and make sure you understand their boundaries, because you should never be pushing someone who's a system, because that's how a lot of people get locked out
Mm-hmm.
from systems, because they'll push boundaries that they didn't even know were boundaries. And so it's like, never force a system to talk about their littles or their trauma or things.
Or each other.
Or
before
each
they're
other.
ready.
Like, let them
don't
come
push
to
people
you
before
naturally.
they're ready, and that's just a very important thing to
Yeah.
do.
You should let a system open up to you. Don't push them. And
Specifically in our case, the more pushy someone is, the more information they try to dig, either trauma-wise or alter-wise, before any of us are ready, the faster we will cut you completely out of our life.
Mhm.
And that's just because, like, people like that have hurt us before, so for us it's a safety measure. And so, like, we will completely block you off from us, and they'll be like, hey, you want so much information, push all the time. Now you get no information. Goodbye. Like,
Yeah.
And so, like, you know, it's just like, yeah, I love that. So some of these are also sent in by some friends. So these are from some of our friends that we have on a personal Discord. That's just our IRL friends. How does it feel to be appropriately adored by so many wonderful headmates?
It's honestly kind of weird, because I feel like, to me, I feel like I'm doing the bare minimum sometimes, and I get so much love and affection for it, and I'm like, I feel like I'm not doing enough for you. Like, I as a partner feel like I should be doing more and be more supportive to get this kind of affection. And it's strange for me to get affection from someone, because I also don't think I was shown the right amount of affection growing up. Like, don't get me wrong, I was still shown affection, but it's just like, getting it in such an abundance is definitely a strange feeling, but I love it, because it helps me realize that I do things that are appreciated, and lets me be seen, basically, as I try to do for you.
Yeah. But you succeed at too. A hard-hitting question from one of our friends. Ouch. How do you feel knowing that the person you fell in love with might one day stop existing? For example, if Nyx or another were to split or fuse or become unrecognizable to you.
Ow. Ow.
I know.
Ow.
Digging deep. Ow, indeed.
Gosh, gotta even really think about that one. Shit. You know, it's something I don't really think about, because I'm so go with the flow that I don't really think of things ever actually going negative like that. Well, it's not even a negative thing. It's just change.
No, because it could be positive. You never know where in the healing journey that could be.
Yeah, and so I if I were to look at that, I'd probably view it as, okay, well, you're kind of stuck with me at that point. We're married, so you don't have to love me right away, but I'm not going anywhere.
And to grieve and lose that person.
It's
But
a-
you'd also have so many of us, I feel like that would support you through that too. Because
And
you
you
do
know,
have quite a few partners.
It's also probably having to learn who this person is too. If they were to split or integrate, it'd be like, well,
I'm
I'm
heartbroken,
Jasmine,
but I'm Jasmine.
but it's nice to meet you.
My heart shattered, but hi.
Yeah, basically, I wouldn't even know what to do in that scenario, but it's mostly that I would probably just focus on rebuilding a not even like a relationship, but like that friendship first. Golly.
I know. That
I don't even want to
question was
think
so
about
hard.
that.
You know, you are watching. That's one of my best friends who sent this message in.
Don't make
so
me
like,
cry.
yeah, I know they live for the feels, so I know why they sent it. What's it like going into relationships, knowing what this is, and it's something that your partner has to deal with on the daily?
Yeah, so when we first started dating, I had no idea what DID was. So that was something I learned about on the fly. It was literally like, oh, by the way, I have DID. And I was like, I don't know what DID is, but
What did you do?
I like you do cosplay and play video games. And then it was like, well, if we're going to be dating, you got to know about this because it's a pretty big thing.
And
And
you were
so-
so forthcoming too, because we were forthcoming with a lot of information about ourselves. But so is she. She was very forthcoming about things that she struggles with as
Yeah,
well.
like I have
Like, she-
anger problems. Not like in the sense that I get angry and lash
Not
out.
like an anger management kind of thing.
It's
but
more of like I get easily irritable and kind of shut down. And I had to be like, hey, just so you know, I'm really bad about doing this. And I want you to know that it's usually never targeted at someone. It's just I get so overwhelmed by scenarios and situations around me that I just get so irritated. I'm frustratedly cleaning and I don't want to talk to anyone, or I'm like, I need space. And we've gotten really good about communication in the sense where I'm like, hey, this upset me earlier today. I'm not mad at you or anything
it's
you've
not
done.
something that you guys have done. I'm just frustrated about something at work or something.
And
else
I
is
need to
like-
go like
yeah.
to a quiet space and calm down. So it's gotten really nice that communication, you know, that we have together, because I'm able to express those things.
Sorry, we were just being cute with the dog. We took a dog break. Have you ever had to break up fights with your partners?
Nothing serious, honestly.
I think we've helped us talk through general frustrations with each
Yeah.
other, or like minor fights.
Like, you know, it's usually little things, or like trying to stop someone from re-traumatizing themselves, and we'll talk through them, but we don't really have any like fights that I need to like be like, hey, you gotta stop doing that. It's more of like, hey, why are we doing that? Is there something you need to talk about? Is there something bothering you? Or, hey, I don't think that's good. We should probably find another outlet for that type of
I know you
conversation.
pissed you off, but listen.
Yeah, it's like,
But it was a one-time comment, blah blah blah.
yeah, it's usually nothing serious.
No. And like even when it was, because Jem and I did have I'm gonna be honest, me and Jem did have a pretty big fight a couple months ago.
Actually, it was more than a couple months ago. Now,
Yeah, it was a while back.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no, we're completely fine, but we did have a pretty big fight.
the only one I can think about is
Yeah.
yeah.
Jem was basically it is a sexual protector, was
Not that
way
telepathic communication.
way before way before Nat or I were even around, way back in our childhood. And so like he has all these things, those traumas came up in therapy, re-traumatized him with a lot of triggers and things, and he was re-traumatizing himself with sexy things and sexy spicy times, and we had to put our feet down and be like, no, you're not doing this out of love, you're doing this to re-traumatize yourself. And I had an argument with him
And it wasn't
that kind of
even
blew
that
up like
he realized it was to re-traumatize himself. It was because he felt like that was the only way he was going to get affection and love in that mindset. And it was like, no, that is not the only way you can get affection and love.
like, darling, you could breathe, and I'd be like, God, I love that man.
Yeah, it was having to like explain to him.
unwire like the trauma response, because he went straight into like survival trauma brain, and we have been given clearance to talk about this situation, so we're using it as an example.
But that's probably like the only time, because
Yeah, we had a huge
he had
fight.
come to me
he
and
was not talking to me,
and
for-
Ro had to explain to me what was going on, because I got Jim's side and I was like,
something doesn't sound right about
it's
that.
not
Yeah.
that Ro doesn't love you type of thing. I feel like there's something else going on, and Ro was like, he's doing this to re-traumatize himself. And then so I, on the outside, had to basically explain like from a third point of view, I guess you could say, like, hey, he does love you.
Ro's right though. Like,
But yeah, Ro's right. This isn't healthy, and I want you to feel loved in other ways.
Until you're able to be in a better mindset.
Yeah.
So we definitely put some rules in place during that time, and now things are fine.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
we trust him in those situations again, not to hurt himself. No, we're completely fine now, healthier than ever. We've moved past it, healed, and Gem's in therapy. Yay!
Yay. Therapy.
Therapy. Let's see. What was? Oh, we just answered that. What was the fight about, and how did you go about it? We already answered it. We were already one step ahead of you guys. All right. So these are some of our last pages on our third page, and these are just more like which partner's which.
Who does what?
Who does what? Who is the most high maintenance?
You, Nat, Nyx. You guys are pretty high maintenance, not gonna lie. You got some big dreams to do in little amounts of time.
Yeah. Who is the most affectionate?
Patrice and you.
Patrice is a very affectionate man, even with friends. 'Cause I'm not dating Patrice. Patrice gives me hugs every day. And I'm like,
Yeah.
This is kind of nice. Like, but also
And
like,
Nyx too.
you're a very loving person, aren't you? You poor trustworthy thing. Be careful out there.
Be careful out there. It's a dangerous
It's a
place.
dangerous world out there. Not to scare anyone away. We got in trouble with that before with Hayden. But who do you spend the most time with?
Probably you and Patrice and Jim. Nyx is out frequently, but not as often anymore.
Yeah. Ooh, fun. Who's the most stubborn? It immediately came to my head. I don't want to see if we have the same.
Jim.
Yeah. Yeah.
And next is Nyx.
Yeah. But like, Jem is always like, you're just being stubborn to be stubborn, you old asshole.
Yeah.
But like,
You
Nyx
old
is like-
asshole.
Nyx
Nyx
is
gets
like,
caught up on the wrong
thing
things
at
to
the
be stubborn
wrong
about.
thing, and you're like, why are you dying on this hill? Like,
It's
what,
always
this is
like
the hill you decided to die on. Like, I love Nyx to death. I love Nyx to death, but it's so funny because some of the things she gets really stubborn about are so silly.
yeah.
Ooh. Who's the spiciest? Oh no!
Row.
No.
Row. 100%.
And I'm sure that's a surprise to everyone.
Is it? It's always the quiet ones.
No.
They get you.
Stop. I'm making this. Oh my god, no. I knew it the minute you asked it, and then looked at me, and I knew it was gonna be me. And
I didn't ask it. You asked it.
There's some agreements too from others that it is. Yeah, probably be surprise.
Sade.
Hello. Hello. Who helps out the most?
You and Patrice, honestly. I feel like you guys are the most on top of things. Nat also helps out a lot when she's free. She likes to keep things, organized.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like the most would be you three.
Yeah. Who is the loudest?
Nyx.
Yeah.
She has no volume control.
No, it's the theatre kid in her.
Yeah.
She
And then
objects.
and Nat, when Nat's
No
out.
objection. Nat's so loud. If you just go look at the bloopers from the last video, she was in. She's so loud. I love my sister to death.
You were struggling
but
with your
dear
bangs so
God,
much
you're
today.
so fucking loud. I love you. We asked who the best cook is. Who's the worst cook? And I already know the answer to this as well.
Well, the best cook would be Jim
Yeah.
with Nyx in there, especially if they work together.
Oh yeah. The two of them make amazing, like, restaurant quality shit.
Yeah.
When they
Nat's chaotic in the kitchen.
Nat scares me in the kitchen because
Ro-
like it's either edible or like
Ro's
really
the worst.
too spicy.
Let me tell you what happened.
No.
The last time Ro was in the kitchen, by the way, we've lived here for over a year now. And in our kitchen, The one time that they're in there, he done burns a chopping board, a cutting board. He done breaks one of the drawers, actually 2 of the drawers, breaks a can opener, like completely shatters. And I'm like, you were in there for 30 minutes.
That was a simple dish too.
It was chili.
It was supposed to be easy, mate.
It was chili. It's, you chop up,
You're supposed to set it and forget it, but
you
that
chop
did not
up
happen.
1 onion, you put it all in a pan, and you leave it alone. And then everything just fucking hits the fan. And I'm like, okay, get out of the kitchen. I'll take over.
You know, the time before that too.
I love you.
When I was in college cooking at one point, I lit a little rag on fire because I just set it near the oven, and I had a fire. It freaked me out. I threw it in the sink and I lit it. There's oil on there. It was a whole mess, and the sink was on fire. And I just had to stamp out the sink with another rag. And I'm not allowed in the kitchen. I am actually banned. I personally cannot go back there for anything besides drinks or a snack that requires no cooking. They've grounded me, a grown-ass adult, because I don't know why. I don't know what happens. But the minute I step over that threshold, things just go to shit, mate. I don't know why. I don't know what happens either. Like, I'm working on something, I turn around, the cutting board's melted. I turn around, the rag's on fire. I turn around and try to use the can opener, it breaks in my hands. I'm like, I don't know why.
A can opener that I had been using for months with no problems.
I don't know what happened. One last question. Who does Maya Moo love the most?
Me.
Out of us. Goofball.
Out of you?
Yeah.
Nyx and probably you.
Yeah.
She loves you guys the most.
Yeah. She gets excited when I front. She like literally will come running to me. It's so cute.
She's sitting behind the camera.
Who do you think Moo is the most awkward with?
Jim. I think
Jim.
that's because
Jim bullies her.
Jim calls her little shit lord.
He calls her he's like little shit lord. And he like noogies her and like flips her over and like shakes her around. It's all like, it's not like dangerous or anything. He's not hurting the dog, but he like
I give her shaken baby
messes with
syndrome.
her all the time. Like constant. And so whenever he's out, she's just like, you can rub Moo's belly, but you cannot mess with Moo. Moo will leave.
Basically, yeah.
It's like, you love Moo, or Moo will leave you, Jem. And Jem always goes, why doesn't Maya love me as much as everybody else? She gets excited about you, bro, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, maybe because the minute she like, you see her, you're like, little dog, little dog,
Little dog. Little dog.
Anyway, this has been a fun video to film. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Jasmine, would you like to give them the signature kiss and slap?
Bye.
Hi everybody. Oh, your glasses look like googly eyes. Okay, so what are we here today for?
Today we are answering
Jasmine. Hello everybody, welcome to the video. Jasmine, what are we doing today?
We are answering some questions from you guys about what it's like to date a DID system.
So without further ado, let's begin this interview. This
Interrogation.
What's it like balancing a system's different religious beliefs?
Religion's not really a problem for me, actually. Recently I've been, oh God. That's it. No. Nuh-uh. Mm-mm.
Poor guy.
Sure. Bye, guys. Are you gonna wave too? Bye.